So good day, everyone. I'll be reporting the pre-hiring, hiring, and the post-hiring stage. So the recruitment and employment cycle in any organization, including the academic institution. So like the University of Cebu can be divided into three important phases: the pre-hiring, hiring, and the post-hiring. So these stages ensures that the institution acquires the right talent, retains them effectively, and aligns them with its goals and culture. So first, let's discuss the pre-hiring stages. So the pre-hiring stages is the foundation of recruitment. So it begins with the workforce planning, where the HR department identifies the need for the new employees. So this involves analyzing staffing shortages, retirement, resignation, or expansion of program. For instance, when UC opens new programmer or increases students intake, so the HR office collaborates with department heads to identify the need for additional faculty members. So at this stage, UC also prepares job descriptions, qualifications, and competency requirements that reflect the institution standards. Next is the hiring stage. So once the need is established, so the hiring stage focus on attracting and selecting the candidates. So this includes announcing vacancies through online platform. So professional network and even university bulletin boards. So in this case of UC, candidates for teaching position and customs administration may undergo multiple phases of screening such as submitting resumes, panel interviews, and demo teaching. So these steps ensures that faculty members are not only academically competent but also capable of effectively engaging students. So hiring committees typically evaluate the applicants based on the teaching style, mastery of the subjects, and alignment with the university mission of making education accessible to all. Next is the post-hiring stages. So the post-hiring stage ensures that employees are integrated smoothly into the institution. So this include orientation, training, mentoring, and performance monitoring. So at UC, newly hired faculty undergo orientation and the university policies, grading system, ethical standards, and student support initiatives. For example, so they are introduced to the new cheating policy and they are taught how to handle academic integrity cases. So within orientation, UC provides continuous training to the faculty members on the topics such as digital pedagogy, research, and student-centered learning. So this stage strengthen the employee loyalty, productivity, and cultural alignment. So, for example, when hiring a new instructors for customs administration, you see first post job opening online. So then conducts demo teaching to assess communication skills and mastery of customs law. And finally, provides an orientation on university policies and ethics. So this structured process ensures that faculty members meet both academic and ethical standard expected by the institution. So next, let's discuss the current trends in human resource management. So human resource management is the constantly evolving due to technological innovation, globalization, and shifting workforce expectation. So universities like UC must adapt to those changes to remain competitive and supportive for their employees. The similar current HR trends are shaping higher education institutions. So first, the digital transformation. So one of the most significant trends is the integration of technology in HR processes. So this includes the use of human resource information system or HRIS, digital payroll and online recruitment platforms. For university, digital transformation also extends the faculty performance evaluation, online training, and e-learning. firms. So at UC, the HR department adapted during the pandemic by recruiting faculty who were skilled in online teaching and by conducting interview virtually. So this trend has continued even post-pandemic. So as UC invests in digital learning and training programs. Next is employee wellness and mental health. So modern HR owner places emphasis on the employee well-being, work-life balance, stress management, and wellness program are prioritized because employee productivity is tied to mental and physical health. So UC demonstrate this trend by offering flexible teaching schedules, so especially for faculty handling multiple classes or advanced studies. So the office also supports employees by ensuring fair workload distribution and access to counseling services. Next is diversity and inclusion. So another important trend in the promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion is in the workplace. So university are expected to foster environment that respect differences in gender, religion, and culture. So at UC, HR policies encourage equal opportunities for faculty and staff, regardless of background. So the institution also welcomes foreign students and faculty, reflecting its commitment to inclusivity. Next is remote and hybrid work models. So the pandemic accelerated the adoption of remote hybrid work arrangement. While UC has resumed the face-to-face classes, so it applies the blended learning and digital teaching methods. So faculty members may upload module online while also conducting traditional classroom discussion. So HR plays a role in training faculty in how effectively deliver hybrid education. Next, let's discuss the human resource generalist versus specialist. So in human resource management, professionals are often categorized into generalists and specialists, both of uh, play unique roles in managing people effectively. So first, the HR generalist. So a generalist is an all-around who manage multiple HR functions. So their responsibility may include recruitment, employee relations, training, compensation, and policy implementation. So they have a broad understanding of HR practices and serve as the link between the employees and management. So at UC, an HR generalist may be handled day-to-day operations such as processing faculty contracts, addressing staff concerns, and coordinating training programs. Next is HR specialist. So a specialist, on the other hand, focuses deeply on single area of HR. For example, a recruitment specialist is highly skilled in sourcing and interviewing candidates, while a training specialist designs employee development programs. So specialists bring expertise in areas that require technical knowledge. So at UC, a compensation and benefits specialist may handle salary computation, leave credits, and compliance with labor law to ensure fairness and accuracy. Comparative value. So both generalists and specialists are vital to organizational success. So generalists provide flexibility and broad coverage, while specialists bring technical depth. Together, they create balanced HR structure that can address complex challenges. For example, University of Cebu employs HR generalists who oversee faculty recruitment training and evaluation. At the same time, UC may have specialists such as a training officer who focuses on continuous professional development for teacher, ensuring they meet the academic standards and stay updated with teaching methodologies. Next, let's discuss the organizational ethics. So, organizational ethics refers to the moral principle and value that guide decision-making behavior. So, and relation within an institution. For universities, ethics plays a crucial role because they are not only workplace but also center of learning and moral development. So, what is the importance of ethics? So, organizational ethics builds trust, accountability, and fairness. So, it ensures that employees, students, and stakeholders are treated with respect. So, in academic institution, ethical policies promote honesty, professionalism, and fairness in both teaching and administration. Next is we see commitments to ethics. So the University of Cebu places a high value in ethical standards. So it enforces a no cheating policy, ensuring that students uphold academic integrity. So faculty members are also guided by a code of conduct, which requires firmness in grading, professional behavior, and avoidance of favoritism. So UCMS also emphasizes transparency in administrative functions such as tuition processing and student record management. Next is ethics in practice. For example, UC faculty are expected to treat all students equally regardless of personal connection. So the HR department ensures that recruitment is merit based, avoiding discrimination in hiring decisions. Such ethical practices build UC reputation as an institution that values fairness and professionalism. For example, a UC faculty member teaching customer administration must not give preferential treatment to students related to them. So the ethical standard of fairness ensures equal opportunities for all students to succeed based on merit, not on personal relationship. So this practice strengthens the trust between the students, faculty, and the institution as whole. So in conclusion, human resource management is an essential function that ensures organization, including the university, achieve their goals by managing people effectively. So at the University of Cebu, the three stages of hiring ensures that competent and ethical employees are chosen. So the institution also adapts to current HR trends such as the digital transformation, employee wellness, diversity, and hybrid work models. So the role of HR generalists and specialists complement one another in managing employee needs and institutional objectives. So above all, organizational ethics guide UC in fostering fairness, integrity, and professionalism among the employee and students. By embracing the effective HR practice and upholding ethical standards, UC continues to fulfill its mission of providing quality of education and developing a responsible citizen. So that will end my report. Thank you.